Hi everyone, this is Emily Leiphart, and today I'm sharing twin birthday cards using Simon Hurley Create products. I made these for my neighbor's boy-girl twins who are celebrating their 9th birthday next week. Did you know that Simon Hurley Create hosts a challenge every month on the Reinker Ink blog? The August prompt is birthday cards, so these fit the bill perfectly. I hope you'll consider entering a Simon Hurley Create birthday card or two for your chance to win a Simon Hurley Create prize package. All you have to do is post your project on Instagram or Facebook using the hashtag #SHCreatedToCreate to be eligible. I'll be using 3 stamp sets in my cards today, and they are the Cakewalk stamp set, which is perfect for all things birthday. Artie the bear has his arms open to hold a cake, present, or cupcake. Plus, you can use those items on their own and stamp cute faces, arms, and legs on them to add character. There's a mix of classic and punny sentiments in Simon's handwriting as well as classic fonts. The second stamp set is Doodle Florals, and this is a layering stamp set that you can use to create everything from backgrounds to bouquets. I love that there's the option of coloring the outline image yourself or using the filler stamps to automatically add color with inks. The last stamp is the Timber Rubber Cling Background stamp, and this one is fabulous for quick and easy scenes. The birch trees come apart in 4 pieces, so you can stamp a group of trees or single ones. Since I'm making 2 cards, one for a boy and one for a girl, I'm going to stamp these images on watercolor cardstock using VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink. Both of my cards are going to have the same design, but one will be in pink and the other one will be in green. Artie is going to be holding a big birthday cake, so I'm going to stamp 2 of each. Using the Minty stamping tool makes it easy to flip my panel and re-stamp them without having to move the stamps. I add superfine clear embossing powder and set it with my heat tool. I'm using all of my Simon Hurley Create Reinkers in a Tim Holtz ink palette to watercolor these images. I add water to the bear before adding the ink so the color moves across the surface more evenly. I colored both bears before moving on to the cake, and I use the same colors to color the bears. Grrr on the body, Woof on the inside of the ears and muzzle, and Rosy cheeks on the tongue. After all the images are dry, I used scissors to fussy cut all of the images. I'm going to use the section of the timber background stamp that has 3 trees as the base for both my backdrops. I'm stamping these on Simon Hurley Create Stark White cardstock using VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink. This time I have removed the foam insert from my Minty stamping tool since I'm using a rubber cling stamp. Next, I have an even larger piece of stark white cardstock along with the piece of the background stamp that has 2 birch trees, so I can cut out all of these trees individually, and I'll explain why I have these extra trees in a bit. After all the trees have been stamped, I quickly use Woof to paint along the left side of each tree to give it some shadow and dimension. I let these panels dry for a bit and then cut out all 5 of the extra trees from the larger panel. Now you can see why I have the extra trees. I want to have the bear peeking out from the forest, and there's space between the 3 trees that were stamped on the panel. I needed 2 extra trees per card to cover up that space since Artie doesn't have a body and it would look weird. I decided that I'm going to cut the bottom of the first tree and tuck the bear behind it. However, I still need to do something about the fact that Artie doesn't have a body. I decided to use a Copic multiliner to draw part of his hip to make it look like he does have a body. Then I used Grrr to watercolor that part of him. This was really quick and easy, and I love how it turned out. Next, I'm going to stamp a few flowers from Doodle Florals to embellish the bears and trees. I stamped flowers in 3 sizes and used the rock and roll technique to fill them in. Those of you who are not familiar with the rock and roll technique, I'm doing it in real time here to show you how I get 2 shades of ink to make an image automatically look shaded, ombre, or dimensional. It always makes an image look better. Basically, I take 2 colors of ink, and in this case it's Piggyback and Rosy Cheeks. I stamp the solid stamp in the lighter color, then rock and roll one of the edges of the image in the darker color. I always go back to the lighter color and re-stamp the image to blur the lines. I'm going to zoom in on the larger flowers so you can see the technique better. Some of you may be concerned about contaminating your ink pad by bringing the darker color into it, but it doesn't bother me at all. I do it a lot, and it's never ruined any of my ink pads. It's definitely a personal choice though, and if you're uncomfortable with it, then I wouldn't recommend it. I stamped one of the flowers with Rosy Cheeks and Prom Queen, and while I loved how it looked, I thought it was too dark for these cards, so I didn't use that one. For the masculine card, I used Minty Fresh and Tropical Tango. I cut a slit between my makeshift body and the first birch tree. Once the extra trees are added to fill the voids, it won't matter that the other half of his body isn't showing. Now it's time to stamp the sentiment, which reads, "Surprise! Have a very good birthday." Again, the Misty stamping tool comes in handy when you're stamping multiples of the same thing. I just swap out the panels and stamp the sentiments in the exact same spot. Since I want to break up the second half of the sentiment on 2 lines, I use washi tape to mask off the 2 parts. This time I'm using Reinker Archival Jet Black ink because I find it's the best black ink for fine line sentiments. I adhere the extra trees with liquid glue and use glue dots to adhere the cake and Artie to the panel. I added the pink flower to Artie's head and placed the rest of the flowers in the trees, adhering them with liquid glue. After trimming off the overhanging tree trunks, I adhere the panels to card bases using liquid glue and tuck a glue dot underneath the corner where Artie was tucked behind the tree, just for added security. To finish the cards, I add Rose Pink and Bora Bora Pearls by Studio Katia. They match Simon's ink colors so perfectly, and the different sizes fit right in the centers of those flowers. I was really pleased with that discovery, so you'll probably be seeing more of this. Now my cards are done. Artie is ready to party. With a slight modification of Artie himself, you can give him a whole new look complete with a fuzzy belly, or at least a bit you can see behind the cake. And I just love the way those trees look in a big cluster. This way, I didn't really have to worry about adding a blue sky or grass. The fact that those flowers colored themselves also saved a lot of time. I hope these cards inspire you to make some birthday cards. And don't forget to link up to Simon Hurley's challenge on Instagram and Facebook by using the hashtag #SHCreatedToCreate for a chance to win Simon Hurley Create products. If you enjoyed today's video, please click on the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Simon Hurley Create products are available at Reinker Ink, Scrapbook.com, and a cherry on top. Be sure to head to my blog for all the details, more photos, and a full shop list. Thanks so much for watching!